it's Joel, your host, and welcome to the Joel Homie Show, where today I'm going to be reviewing the Nerf-Elite 2.0 Wild Edition Prospect QS-4. So today's review video is going to consist of 5 parts, starting with a box overview, then moving to an unboxing, overview of everything that's included, further review of the blaster itself, and last but definitely not least, a firing demo. So let's start off today's video with a box overview. Of course, starting at the front, and the big eye catcher here is obviously the blaster itself as it's exposed and on display. On this lower part of the box, we have a little description mentioning that this comes with 8 of the Elite 2.0 Wild Edition darts. In the bottom right, we have a listing of the blaster itself with the full name. This is once again, as I had previously mentioned, the Nerf-Elite 2.0 Wild Edition Prospect QS-4. In the top right, we have a description mentioning that the Smart AR system on the Prospect can hold up to 4 darts, and in the top left we have the newer style of Nerf logo with the white font that's paired with a blue haze. Moving to the back of the box, we have some further description of the blaster itself, once again mentioning the 4 dart capacity of the Smart AR system, the T-style priming handle, and we have a targeting scope, at least that's what Nerf calls it. Towards the bottom of the box, here we have some copyright and safety information. Once again, Nerf logo. And in the top right, once again, Prospect QS-4 Wild Edition. And for the right and left sides of the box, I'll just do some quick little flash ups here. Starting with the left side of the box, which once again says Nerf-Elite 2.0 Prospect QS-4 Wild Edition. And the right side of the box just has a description mentioning that this packaging was made from recycled materials. On the bottom of the box, over towards the left, we have some copyright information. Directly to the right of that, we have a barcode or proof of purchase. And directly to the right of that, we have a Nerf Nation description for Nerf.com. And on the bottom of the box, we also have some instructions on how to operate the blaster. So first you load, then prime, then fire, and rinse and repeat. Now that we've taken a look at the box, let's go ahead and get this thing opened up and take a closer look at everything that's included.
Included is the blaster and darts.
So, with the Prospect QS-4 out of the box, there are a couple criticisms I have right off the bat, but those are things that I will get to after I review the blaster. But I'll go ahead and start by overviewing the grip, and I'll work in a clockwise format moving towards the barrel. So starting with the grip is a lot smaller than usual and is noticeably smaller than that of like a Quadrot, which is essentially the exact same blaster but was released years prior in the Zombie Strike lineup. But that isn't really much of a problem for myself as I do have smaller hands. I would imagine if you do have larger hands, you probably get what I'm going to call the jolt or tryout effect, where your hands and fingers start to hang off of the end. Now the trigger guard is, well, very small. That is a thing that I will get to later and talk a little bit more about. But the trigger guard is very, very small to the point where it is uncomfortable because you can't really operate and move your finger in and out of the trigger guard very easily without hitting your finger on this graded or sort of textured area, and I would imagine that would get very uncomfortable. But right above the trigger guard, we do have the Elite 2.0 Nerf and Prospect logos and names painted in the neon paint to match the scope. But right behind the Nerf logo, we have the T-style priming handle, which to prime you simply pull back and pull the trigger to fire. And while we're on the topic of priming and firing, to reload this blaster, you just simply grab darts and stuff them right in the front, just like that. Prime, pull the trigger, and, well, you can get backfire and shoot your mic. Right above the priming handle, we have the scope, which is in the same turquoise color as all of the paint that is on the Nerf Elite 2.0 and Prospect. However, this scope isn't actually a scope. It has nothing on the inside, and you might have noticed this is a pistol. Why does it have a scope? The other thing is it has a iron sight molded into the barrel in a similar format to the Trailblazer, which once again had a front mounted iron sights. And in the review, I had mentioned that you kind of have to operate this like a shotgun with a bead and just sort of generally point that at what you want to and hope it hits it. This also has a front-mounted iron sights, but you can't use it because it's blocked by the scope, and to use it, you kind of have to tip the blaster up to even see the iron sights, and at that point, you'd be shooting high to the point where you're not going to hit what you're shooting at. And moving down, right in front of the scope, we have a lot more of that tiger sort of striping textured effect. And this is a smart AR system 4-round blaster, so it will work its way from the top barrel all the way to the bottom. And as most 4-round smart AR system blasters, and well, most all smart AR system blasters have in common anyways, the bottom barrel does shoot a lot softer than the top 3, but once again, to reload, you just take your darts and push them right in the front. And unlike the Trailblazer, these barrels are all consistent and don't really like smash the darts. You don't really have to work to, push them in without smashing them. And of course the bottom does shoot slower, but it's not really noticeable unless you're at a semi-long range or have a chronograph to test that with. So unlike the Trailblazer, I don't see any actual practical reason to purchase the Prospect outside of, I guess, if you just want sort of like a thing similar to the Quadrot with a smaller grip. Once again, I had a lot of very, very good things to say about the Trailblazer. In my opinion, this is a very, very good competitor and even possibly better version of the Hammershot. However, the blaster that the Prospect competes with, of course being the Quadrot, I don't think this does it any better. I think this actually does it worse because it has a pointless scope and a smaller grip that's going to be cramping to a lot more people than that of the Quadrot grip, which inherently wasn't amazing because Zombie Strike was very into that, having that fake sort of wrap stuff on it, which in my experience made a lot of the blasters uncomfortable. And now that I've gone over my own personal criticisms and pet peeves with the Prospect, as well as reviewed the blaster, let's go ahead and once again move on to last but definitely not least, a firing demo. Alright, so for the firing demo, I have 4 rounds preloaded here that I'll just fire off semi-slowly, and then I'll go ahead and reload and fire a bit quicker. So here's the initial firing with the preloaded rounds. Let's go ahead and reload. Now let's go ahead and fire a bit quicker. And with that, that's going to conclude the JHS review of the Nerf-Elite 2.0 Wild Edition Prospect QS-4. If you enjoyed today's video as much as I enjoyed making it, it would be greatly appreciated if you could hit that like button, and if you'd like to see more of my content going into the future, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well as ring that notification bell. And with that, I'll catch you guys in the next one.